reference to this incident. So pay attention. Read verses 7 to 13. It plainly calls to fact that it was pagans, not the Muslims, who broke the treaty. So why do you say this surah gives us the go-ahead to break treaties? Read verse 8. Quote, it says, if they gain dominance over you, they don't observe the covenant of protection, unquote. Verse 10, quote, they do not observe, ... quote. Where does it say in Quran 9, 1 through 5, that it's talking about Hudaybiyah? Hudaybiyah. You aren't taqqiya-ing me here, are you? Man, such ignorance, it's actually quite impressive. Why do you always explain your ignorance with, quote, you must be lying? Here we go, verse 3. On the day of the greater pilgrimage, what treaty was dissolved during Hajj? Only Hudaybiyah. There you go once. Oh, I agree that Quran 9, 1 through 5 is talking about a time during Muhammad, but it also gives you a feeling that after forbidden months, it's perfectly fine for Muslims to have, quote, freedom from obligation concerning their peace treaties. How can it not? Read the surah. It says, quote, Hudaybiyah. There you go twice. There you go. Twice how is it that you have the gall to say Muhammad did such and such without reading the record of what he actually did? Even without the biography of the verses, make it clear that the only reason for dissolving a treaty is violations on the pagan side. So where is this supposed allowance to break treaties? I have a fun exercise. Let's separate the Quran and the Prophet's biography for each other for a second and see what we can find out from... where does it say Hudaybiyah? In Quran 9, 1 through 5. Does it also say in Quran 9:29 where you are also supposed to kill Christians and Jews until they feel themselves subdued and pay the jizya, twice as much as the zakat that a Muslim has to pay in tax? I have a fun exercise. Let's separate the Quran and Prophet's biography for each other for a second time and see what they can find out. Immediately, Quran 9, Surah 9. Whatever treaty it was, who violated? The pagans. It says, quote, they, not the excuse for breaking treaties here. Too bad the surah. Why was the treaty of Hudaybiyah dissolved? The pagans broke it. It also says, Surah 9 was revealed during this time, but let's leave that for now. So from either source, you have no example of Muhammad failing to honor a pact. Where did you even get the idea that he had done so? Where in Quran 9, 1 through 5, or in Quran 9, 29, verse 29, Quran 9, verse 29, does it say they, quote, they, unquote, they, where does it say they broke treaty first? Or, quote, lest they follow the ways of their forefathers? Is lest they follow the ways of their forefathers code for they broke peace treaty first? If so, where does it say lest they follow the ways of their forefathers is really, quote, they broke peace treaties first? I find it funny. When you say he did something, you get the information, though you present it twisted and incomplete, from the Sunnah and Surah. But when I respond with those, they are no longer acceptable sources. So it's fine for an accusation, but not for exoneration. By that standard, where does it say in the Quran that quote, war is deceit? So you can use it to make an accusation about what Islam espouses and approves. But I cannot do so in correcting you. It doesn't say in the Quran, quote, war is deceit. It says it in the Hadith that war is deceit. Being so the case, I take it you don't believe it because it's in the hadith. Why does its status change according to which of us is speaking? If you use it as a way of showing what Islam teaches, it cannot only be a valid source when utilizing by you, correct? So again, I say the surah, which was transmitted similarly as the Quran states. These verses were revealed addressing this, but it isn't appropriate to insert historical trivia into the text of the Quran as it is God's speech. So the two recorded apart. And as I said, the surah itself is sufficient as proof. Look, I'm sure Quran 9:1-5 is historic, but it's also written in such a way that it seems like it can create a terrorist mentality in the mind of the Muslim of today, like the 45 British Islamic medical doctors who tried to destroy 2 Scottish airports in 2007. Part 2, verse 10, continued. Quote, they are the offenders. Verse 12, quote, and if they break their oaths after their treaty and fight your religion, then fight the leader of disbelief. Verse 13, quote, would you not fight a people who broke their oaths and determined to expel the messenger, and they had begun the attack on your first time? Between 7 and 13, you have 6 explicit statements showing clearly that it's the actions of the pagans that caused the treaty to be dissolved, not the whim of the Muslims. Where does it say that in Quran 9:1-5? According to Muhammad, war is deceit. Also according to Quran 3:28, 106. Verse 106. A Muslim is able to lie, quote, performing al-taqqiya or guarding, unquote. Are you using, doing al-taqqiya here? He doesn't respond. Thanks, I responded. I'm awaiting your response to what I set up, what I put up. So what in South heck are you talking about? When you say these verses give Muslims carte blanche to disregard the treaties, it even says if they uphold the treaty, we do the same. So what we do is determined by the other side. How does what you said stand up to the face of this? Even without surah, the verses clearly show that the pagans, with the aggressors, only a crazy, negligent, or dyslexic person could take any other understanding. So how, when it's so plainly said otherwise, is this a threat? Quran 9 verse 1. You choose to stop there. You're going to ignore these verses 4. You're going to ignore verses 4 and 7-14. These make it clear that the only ones who broke the treaty, whether you choose to accept that it was for the buyer or not, were the pagans, not the Muslims. And that's why there's no more treaty. How can you choose to ignore that? Do you claim that the verses aren't there? Or that they do not in fact say, quote, they do not observe any pact, unquote. And, quote, if they break their oaths, fight them, and that they began the attack. It says that, does it not? Quran 9 verse 4. What does Quran 9 verse 4 say? Are you sure in Quran 9:4 it says the pagans broke the peace treaties first? If so, paste it, please. It doesn't respond. Well, I'll paste it. This is what it says in Quran verse 9 verse 4. Okay, but the treaties are not dissolved with those pagans with whom you have entered into alliance, and who have not subsequently failed you in aught, nor aided anyone against you. So fulfill your agreements with them to the end of their term, for Allah loveth the righteous. Where does it say they broke peace treaties first? If you read on in Quran 9:5, it sounds like this doesn't help those who, quote, haven't failed you in aught, unless they are, quote, without knowledge.